good, Lifestyle Podcast? Welcome back to the channel. It's your boy Jared. Y'all, today we're gonna be doing a video from MSNBC. Now, this is of an interview of the President of the United States, and I want you guys to check out something. I'm not gonna be reviewing the entire video because, quite frankly, I don't want to get a full-on copyright strike from MSNBC. But what needs to be actually talked about is a part in the video interview that Biden kind of sounded a little off. Now, he didn't sound off this entire interview, but there's a certain part where his voice kind of changed for a second or two. And I'm going to show you exactly what I'm talking about. If you guys want to see a full breakdown of that interview, I'm going to link down below the Jason Black video from when he broke it down fully. But this video is going to be talking about the part of the interview where his voice changed. You'll see what I'm talking about. But let's get it.
Yeah.
It's a good question. I have a few questions, Mr. President, and I know you know where I stand. And yet I have a few questions. First, it's very simple. How can you assure the American people that you won't have another night like the one you did in Atlanta?
Look at my career. I've not had many of those nights. It was a terrible night, and I really regret it happened. But the fact of the matter is, how can you assure you're going to be on faith that can intervene on your way to go to, work tomorrow? Age wasn't, the idea I'm too old. Created over 15 million jobs, 21 million insured for the ACA, beat Big Pharma, relieved student debts for 5 million people first.
Okay, first of all, I just want to interrupt right here.
Created over 15 million jobs, 20.
No, he's talking about creating over 15 million jobs. Can I ask y'all a question? Who else is struggling in this raggedy ass economy? Can I just ask that question? Who in the hell is struggling in this raggedy ass economy that this man made?
21 million insured for the ACA, beat Big Pharma, relieved student debts for 5 million people.
And also, who in the French toast had student loan debts forgiven? Because last time I checked, nobody that I know got those student loan debt forgiveness programs.
First black woman in the court. So I think I had a significant run, and that's how I'd measure me. Measure me what I've done. And by the way, in terms of my neurological capacity, I had a neurological physical as well in February. It's released. I released all my records, all of them. And I have a neurological test every single day. Try sitting behind this desk and making these decisions. You know it. Both of you know it. They know it. I'm not bad at what I do. And now, it doesn't mean I never make a mistake. I do. But I'm making those decisions.
Mr. President, if anybody in my family had a night like that, like if my Joe had a night like that, or my kids or anybody, I'd probably want to do some sort of workup and medical workup and make sure he's okay. Have you been tested for any age-related illnesses, pre-Parkinson's, or anything like that that might explain sort of having a night like that where you couldn't finish sentences?
Now here's the part where it's about to kind of show you, about to see what I'm talking about. If you listen real closely, you'll see what I'm talking about.
Look, I was feeling so badly before the debate. When I came back, they tested me for, I thought maybe I had COVID, maybe there was something wrong, I had an infection or something. They tested me, they gave me those tests, I was clear. So, but look, I had a bad night. But the fact of the matter is, look at what I'm doing. I mean, let me put it this way. If there was something that was wrong that night, it's not like it comes and that's one night and it goes away. That's why I've been out. I've been testing myself, been testing everywhere I go, going out and making the case. The night of that debate, I went out. I was out till 2 o'clock in the morning that very night. That very night, it drives me nuts, people talking about this. That very night, I was talking to large crowds. Look at the crowds we've gathered everywhere from Atlanta to North Carolina to Pennsylvania, and look at the enthusiasm. But it was right after. Where the hell's Trump been? What has Trump said or done except deny and lie about what he's for?
Okay, so you have repeatedly said that all of these people and entities are wrong. And let me go through them. The New York Times editorial board, The Economist, the Atlanta Journal-Constitution, the Boston Globe, Jerry Nadler, Seth Moulton. Let me go to Julian Castro.
Fair use, fair use.
Tim Ryan, David Axelrod, David
Oh,
Remnick, Richard Haas. Yeah, I know which one you're responding to there. Zeke Emanuel. But they're saying that you should step aside. So what is your plan of attack moving forward? These are pretty big names.
Is to go out and keep doing their big names, but I don't care what those big names think. They were wrong in 2020. They're wrong in 2022 about the red wave. They're wrong in 2024. And come out with me. Watch people react. You make a judgment. You make a judgment. Mm-hmm. And by the way, I'm going to have all these foreign leaders here. I've been in contact with the new British Prime Minister. Anyway, look, the country, the rest of the world is looking. Our allies are looking for U.S. leadership. Who else do you think could step in here and do this? I expanded NATO.
Right there, he said he expanded NATO. Now, what he's referring to is NATO, the NATO expansion into Ukraine, which is on the border of Russia. Now, I'm not the brightest bulb in the damn box, but I can guarantee you this: the reason why Russia attacked Ukraine is because of them and their negotiations to become a NATO country. See, what Biden's talking about right here, he expanded NATO. Yes, he did. But he also caused a war. And he's also funding a war in Israel and Palestine. The Gaza Strip. So, if you want to be honest, this man's caused 2 wars.
I solidified NATO. Ask your brother about it in Poland. I made sure that we're in a position where we have a coalition of people, of the nations around the world to deal with China, with Russia, with everything that's going on in the world. We're making real progress. The Biden plan, which got in Israel for the Gaza Strip, is something that was adopted by the UN Security Council. Whether it comes to fruition, it's awful close. We'll see. G7's okay. But look, yep. I'm not going to explain any more about what I should or shouldn't do. I am running. Mm-hmm. And if you want to stop
I wanted to ask you, it's so interesting. You talked about how, you were supposed to lose in 2020. You won. There's supposed to be a huge wave in 2020.
Okay, let me ask you guys something. Fair use. How many of you guys have noticed that Biden's voice is very airy? Now, I get it. He's probably on speakerphone in a conference room with a bunch of people around him. We already know that. But how many of you guys have ever seen a president do a phone interview when it's talking about something like this? Usually when you see a president who's campaigning, he's usually doing a video call so they can actually interact with them. Now, I'm not saying that Biden's not there, but I have a feeling that they're using some type of technology. Matter of fact, when was the last time you heard a new song from Michael Jackson. Michael Jackson songs. Okay. Recently, there was a song that came out. If I can find out when, because he passed away in 2009. Okay. There was a song that was featured. That recent songs. Okay. Hold on right quick. Heal the World. Matter of fact, I'm able to do it. I'll be able to see it here. Apple Music. Now, we all seen that Michael passed in 2009. So, we have this one. Have this one, Escape Deluxe. So, before y'all say I'm capping, y'all seeing this right here and there. You see? But, question, who was singing these songs? Because Michael, like it said right here, the magnitude of Michael Jackson's talent is evident in every track of his second collection of previously unreleased material. So, yeah. Now, there's a reason why I brought that up. They could be using the same tech that they used to mimic Michael Jackson's voice. So, what they're probably doing is they're mimicking Joe Biden's voice and having somebody speak and retune that person's vocal patterns to match Biden's.
2022, there wasn't. In 2023, Republicans were supposed to win. They didn't. You could say the same thing about France. Le Pen was supposed to win in 2 years ago. She ended up getting crushed. Her party, her far-right nationalist extreme party, was supposed to win yesterday. They ended up getting crushed. I'm curious, what message do you take from the French elections and the British elections? Because we keep hearing about the rise of far-right nationalist extremism in Europe. But I've got to say, it looks like this past week has been the worst week for far-right nationalists between Britain and France. I'm wondering what you say about that and what message you take to NATO allies this week.
Look, Joe, let's get something clear about 20 and 24. Not only were they wrong, I said they were wrong beforehand. I said we were going to win and how we were going to win. I didn't pretend about it. It wasn't like, oh, my God, I was surprised. I was not surprised. I predicted it. I knew what we were doing, number one. Number two, you may remember, I was one of the few people out there publicly saying before the 2022 election, there will be no red wave. There will be no red wave. Because I've been all over the country. I didn't believe it at all. And then in 2023, the key elections, I went into those races. Not every one of them, but a lot of them. And I said we were going to win. Look, we won those. So, Joe, it wasn't just that it didn't happen. I was predicting beforehand it would not happen. Because I've got a pretty good political instinct and eye. And here's the deal. It's not going to happen here this time around. The American public is not going to move away from me as an average voter. And again, I'm here for two reasons, pal. One, to rebuild the economy for hardworking middle-class people, give everybody a shot.
Well, sir, you're doing a very good job at that with everything sky fucking high. But okay.
Just a straight shot. Everybody gets a fair chance, number one. Number two, remember all this talk about how I don't have the black support? Come on, give me a break. Come with me. Watch. I'm getting so frustrated by the elites. Now, I'm not talking about you guys, but about the elites in the party who they know so much more. But any of these guys
You heard that? You heard that?
in the party who they know so much more. In the party who they know so much more.
You see? His voice got a little more deeper. So much more. Sounded like they was using digital audio to me. They was using digitized voice clips from him and allowing somebody to speak over him. Because honestly, if this is now we seen him at the we seen him when he did the debate. He couldn't form a complete sentence. He was all over the place. He's still all over the place, but he seems a little bit more there. Or it seems like he's a little bit more spunky. But to me, it just sounds like they used voice clippings from him and manufactured the voice because it sounds way too airy and too. It sounds way too droney to me. It doesn't seem right because, like I showed you with the Michael Jackson thing, a lot of people use those voice over systems if they're trying to hide something. They use those systems just to say, for instance, somebody passed that was famous. They use that voiceover clip in mimic their voice. They've always done it. The technology's been out there for all this time, but the problem is that technology is starting to get exposed. And the thing is, I think that's what they used when they was doing this interview. That's the reason why Biden wasn't on the sat phone or wasn't on video. Because if you're doing that, you have to assume that somebody's behind the scenes pulling strings. It just seems way too digitized to me. Color me suspicious. Color me a conspiracy theorist. But to me, it just seems a little off. But anyways, guys, like, share, subscribe, channel, support the podcast, and spot.com. I will see you guys on the flip side. Thank you guys for listening. Bye, guys.